Hello everyone and welcome back guys to Season 2 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory. I had quite a few questions from you guys sort of asking when Season 2 would begin. But yeah, there is no intention of stopping this, no intention of sort of slowing down, waiting around a bit. We're going to jump straight into Season 2. If you missed out on the finale of Season 1, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, Season 2. Hopefully, it's going to be a year of improvements for Williams, and really, we want to move up the order.
I hope you're ready to get another season started. Let's try and improve on last year.
So there we are, Emma just telling me that we do need to try and get good this year overall. We've got quite a few little things to sort of talk about before we move into this first round of the season. First of all, in terms of editing, I sort of had a couple of questions about that. There will be a few sort of small editing changes to these videos, as well as for two reasons mainly. One of them is just I sort of want to focus slightly more on some things, slightly less on other things, but you'll sort of see that through this video. As well as generally, I want to try and make the videos slightly shorter on the whole. Now, most of them were sort of over 20 minutes. Now, a lot of you guys, that basically meant that a lot of the time you could actually work out if it was over 20 minutes, then I'd probably finished the race. If it was under 20 minutes, I probably hadn't. So, for this time around, I'm going to try and keep most of the videos under 20 minutes. Obviously, the opening round of the season is sometimes a little bit different on the whole there. But yeah, let's move on then. As you can see, contract summary. We've got P18 in qualifying, P17 in races. Our goal, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is to finish P16 in one of the opening two rounds of the season. 400 extra R&D points. I'm really going to try and do everything I can to, you know, get as many R&D points as possible. The weekend review, as you can see, obviously, everything is the same order as it was at the end of last season. Development-wise, we did get the engine power, the weight reduction, and the tyre wear upgrade, but unfortunately the drag did not actually come through. They're very annoyed with that. But yeah, apart from that, it's going to be a completely dry weekend. Emma just talking about contracts with Toro Rosso that I don't really care about. I got a couple of questions still about that. I'm staying with Williams until I win the World Championship. In terms of upgrades, though, obviously nothing we're going to be able to do just yet with just 289 R&D points. But hopefully we will be able to fix that upgrade by the end of free practice here at the Australian Grand Prix. In terms, though, of free practice, as you can see, we actually were able to take home quite a few good R&D points there. The qualifying pace still absolutely impossible, but we did take a good sort of 300-400 points from free practice there in the opening round of the season, which, you know, I'll certainly take. 308 points takes us now up to 597, which is obviously really ideal on the whole. Means that we should slowly be able to move up, you know, get a few more upgrades on the car. Season 2, I've sort of learnt a few things from a couple of my buddies that are playing this game, and they really do say focus on one area of the car. So that's probably what I'm going to do for Season 2 here. You know, we're really going to probably try and focus on the aerodynamics on the car. Bit of a risky strategy, obviously, if we do get another aero change at the end of this season, but that's what I'm probably going to do. So we're going to focus pretty much on sort of one area of the car for quite a while now. Obviously, in Season 1 it was generally the chassis. But towards the end then of my first qualifying run, you can see, actually, alright, and then Ocon. Well, I don't know really what to say about that. You know, we let off as we come over the line, and Ocon just completely slams into the back of me there. But it wasn't a particularly good opening lap, as you can see, by the time we come around towards the end of my second lap of Q1 here. We are going to be quite a way up on my previous run there. Actually using very low ERS as we were actually running at a D rate as we come out of the final corner, though. Down towards the line, as I said, we're going to make up a huge amount of time with that tiny bit of ERS there. We're going to improve by a second, and it's going to be P14 at that stage of the session with just 1 minute to go of the opening round of the year there. But unfortunately, it wouldn't be good enough to make it through into Q2 there. Raikkonen actually went through as the fastest man there, but Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll were able to shuffle me down there. 400ths off my teammate there. Very frustrated with that after the first qualifying session of the year there. But there we are then, P17 on the grid. Let's move on then into the Australian Grand Prix. So last season's Australian Grand Prix was actually quite an interesting one. We saw Valtteri Bottas take the win from P4 on the grid there with a fantastic one-stop strategy. 17 seconds clear of Sebastian Vettel, who came through for P2. Daniel Ricciardo would actually finish off on the podium at his home Grand Prix there, with Max Verstappen finishing P4. Hulkenberg a very, very good race down in, well, sorry, up even in P5 there, with Hamilton, unfortunately, on a 3-stop race down in P6 there from second on the grid. I would come through for P8 in a fantastic, fantastic race. Obviously, unfortunately, the AI was probably a little bit weaker than it really should have been, so, you know, we'll take that result with a pinch of salt from last season, with Kevin Magnussen and Pierre Gasly rounding out the point scorers there. Charles Leclerc, very, very unfortunate, just missed out on points in his debut race in Formula 1. As well as we saw Kimi Raikkonen unfortunately retire from the very first Grand Prix of the F1 2018 at Williams Road to Glory career mode there. But yeah, certainly last season was quite an interesting result. Qualifying was certainly very interesting here. Sergio Perez on pole for the opening round of Season 2 alongside Hamilton, with both Ferraris rounding out the second row, both Red Bulls on row 3. Bottas, Alonso and the two Renaults rounding out the top 10, with Grosjean, Van Dorn, Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, my teammate, up in P15, and myself up 1 in P16, with Pierre Gasly, Ericsson, Magnussen and Brendan Hartley rounding out the grid, ready for the opening round of Season 2 here at Australia.
Expecting, so see if you can keep this position in the race.
So here we are then, ready for the Australian Grand Prix. It should be a fairly textbook one-stop Grand Prix today, but you know, we'll have to wait and see about that. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the start of Season 2. It's 5 lights, and it's a lights out, and away we go, and actually up to an absolutely appalling start. Then we had a couple of good starts for the end of Season 1. Just, I don't know what that was, we just didn't get the revs down where I really needed to, but we do move back up into P16, very, very aggressive on the brakes coming through the first couple of corners there. So back up into P16, right back where I started. We've got Charles Leclerc and my teammate Lance Stroll just ahead of me there. We're going to send it down the inside of the pair of them there. Unfortunately, lose the rear end ever so slightly. He accidentally spins slightly into Ocon there. He's going to shove me off the road coming through the next corner there. But we will hold on now to P14 of the Grand Prix there. So we have moved up 2 after that horrific start here in Australia there. I'm very, very happy with overall by the end of that first half a lap there. Towards the end though of lap 1, we'd have Stoffel Van Dorn slowing down Carlos Sainz with Ocon just not able to get a particularly good run there, clipping the curb on the outside, which means we're going to sniff down the inside there, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but we do make the move at work. He's going to try and keep the nose up the inside through the penultimate corner there, but we should be able to keep it. Yes, we do. He backs out through the final corner there. Van Dorn very, very slow out of the final corner. We're going to move up into P12. My teammate Lance dives into the pit lane there as well. Very, very unfortunate for him. Carlos Sainz defensive into 1, locks up though, and that's going to move us all the way up into P11 there. 3 places made up through the final half a sector there. Not too sure what happened to Carlos Sainz. I think he just got clipped by the Force India of Esteban Ocon here. But on to the end though of lap 2, and obviously really we were set to struggle a little bit against these guys. It's pretty much try and make up as much as we can on lap 1 and hope that we don't lose out on a whole host of places there. End of lap 2 though, and it'd be unfortunate that last year's race winner Valtteri Bottas would actually unfortunately pull to the wayside there. Very, very unfortunate for him. Last season's runner-up as well, retiring just 2 laps into his Season 2 campaign there. Very, very unfortunate for the Mercedes driver there. But on to the end of lap 3 though, and actually Charles Leclerc piling on the pressure on the rear end of me there as we come towards the start of lap 4. He's going to be on the inside, not really anything he's going to be able to do on the outside of turn 1 there. He parks it absolutely beautifully there on the apex through turn 1. We're going to try and get a bit of a switchback move there, but obviously nothing going to be really able to do there, especially with the Sauber with its DRS. He's going to play defensive. I'm going to be very, very cautious on the brakes, and unfortunately we're going to have to slot back down into P11 at this stage of the day. There were a couple of drivers now starting to dive into the pit lane. Now Hulkenberg and Raikkonen, the first 2 drivers, very, very early in. But Ericsson pretty much is just going to do a carbon copy of his teammate 1 lap earlier there. Parks it beautifully on the apex of turn 1. Once again, we're going to try and go for the switchback move here as we come out onto the end of the first couple of corners. Ericsson parks it through the second spot. I say the second chicane there. It's sort of a chicane, sort of not really. But there we are then, on to the end of lap 10, my first and hopefully only pit stop of the day here. We're going to drop all the way back down the order here, but hopefully, you know, a little bit earlier than I was hoping here in Australia, but obviously hoping it can still pay off there. For some reason, just wasn't able to get out of the pit lane there. It was actually a sub 2-second pit stop there, so a fantastic job by the team. Carlos Sainz is going to whiz past me, and that's going to move us all the way back down to the rear of the field here in Australia. But obviously, hopefully, over these next couple of laps, we should be able to move slowly but surely back up the order here, obviously, as everyone else does make their pit stops. On to the end of lap 12. As soon as I say that, obviously, we do skip on 1 or 2 laps later to see Ocon, Van Dorn and Pierre Gasly all have dived into the pit lane there, so we will move just actually ahead of Pierre Gasly, so clearly not actually going as quickly as I had originally hoped there. Charles Leclerc a good couple of seconds up the road, and then on to the end of, well, sorry, the start of lap 14, all over the back of K-Mag here. Are we going to be able to get the switchback move just as he exited the pit lane here? We're going to try and look to the outside of the Haas driver. We will be just clear moving into the braking zone, trying to brake as late as we possibly dare. Kick at the back end though, get the wheels all over the curbs there somehow. Very, very lucky to be keeping it pointing in the right direction, but we wouldn't be able to keep that move. But unfortunately for me, or sorry, even fortunately for me, even Charles Leclerc would actually struggle with a couple of small issues over the next couple of laps here, which would mean we were able to pile on the pressure once again to the Sauber driver. Sauber really, really strong in the opening round of Season 2 here. As we come out onto the back straight there, Charles Leclerc trying to shut the door on me here, doing absolutely everything within his power to try and defend this position, but we will have the straight line speed to the outside in towards the fast chicane. Unfortunately, Charles Leclerc does back out of that one there. That could have been very, very scary if he hadn't decided to move out of that one. But does mean we are now back up into P13 of the Grand Prix, and lap 17. The safety car has been deployed. I never thought I'd see the day. A lot of people thought I didn't actually have the safety car enabled. Honestly, I checked most races that I did. But finally, we've got a safety car in Season 2. You know, we went all of Season 1 without one, and then, well, half a race into Season 2. We finally got my first safety car here. Really, really odd that I'm actually so excited for this. Yeah, but yeah, really. Well, this could really, really shake up this Grand Prix here, because we are actually going to try and take a little bit of a gamble, pit onto a set of the super soft tyres over these next couple of laps here. You know, really, it's going to be a bit of a risky one. It depends on how well we're going to be able to file our way back through the order here. But, you know, it's a risk I'm willing to take. We're not going to score any sort of good points anywhere here today, unless obviously we get an absolute miracle over these last few laps. But on to the end of lap 19 here, we are going to have 10 laps to go of this Grand Prix here to try and carve our way back through the order. We will be starting right the way at the rear of the field here. The autopilot is on. We're trying to look up the inside of Van Dorn there. Unfortunately, timed that absolutely horrendously there, so Van Dorn will hold on to the position now as we come out of the final corner though. As I said, we should have fresher, quicker tyres than the rest of the field. We've got a lot of ERS to play. We've got just over a lap's worth of extra revs, extra fuel as well there. And yeah, we really just want to try and carve my way back through the order. First up on the old hit list will be the Mclaren driver of Stoffel Van Dorn, and a very, very rough Season 1 on the whole. I'm hopefully going to make Season 2 a little bit rougher there. A very, very late dive bomb from myself there. Van Dorn just tried to shut me out there, but we are going to just about keep the nose around the outside there. That'll move to the inside. We're going to play just as aggressively as he did there. Squeeze him out over the curbs, and now we move back up into P18, the first overtake made that we needed to here. Onto the end of lap 20 though, all over the back of Carlos Sainz here. Are we going to be able to try and make any sort of move through these final couple of corners there? The AI really just concertina up through the final couple of corners there. We accidentally go for a move on Esteban Ocon there. I wasn't actually intending to go for that one there, but well, we're going to take any opportunity we can get out of the final corner. Are we going to be able to move past the Force India car? We're going to have to look to the outside as he is going to play very, very defensive there. To the outside at turn 1 there. We actually make a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Ocon does give us the room though on the exit, and it's now going to be P16 here in Australia. Ocon is going to try and look up the inside once more though, but we should be able to swing it right around the outside. Yes, we do. Quicker, fresher compounded tyres there, much more grip, and it's going to now be P16 in this race. And next up on the old hit list will be my teammate Lance Stroll here. Yellow flags are out though as we come through the final sector of lap 22, and it's Nico Hulkenberg unfortunately retiring in the Australian Grand Prix. Renault had a 100% reliability record last season, the only team to be able to do so. Well, unfortunately for Nico Hulkenberg, he's retired in the first round of Season 2 there. Very, very unfortunate for him. Lance Stroll, they're still just half a second up the road here, but we've got Ocon in my mirrors as well, who's certainly going to be trying to size up a move through the first couple of corners though. We're going to be in the slipstream in the DRS of my teammate Lance Stroll here. Obviously got exactly the same power unit. We're going to think about going for a late dive bomb there. He actually locks up as well, which does certainly help me out just a little bit more there. Tries to keep the nose up the inside, but we do now move up into P14 of this race here. So certainly we are slowly but surely moving up through the order over these next couple of laps. The Hartley would actually slow down Charles Leclerc as they come out in towards lap 25 here. Are they going to hold each other up? They're still side by side through the final couple of corners here. Wonderful to see the AI actually fighting in this career mode there through the final couple of corners there. Lose the back end ever so slightly, but we should be able to get a very, very good run still out of the corner. Leclerc up the inside of Brendan Hartley. We're going to use the double slipstream to our advantage down the inside of Hartley. Leclerc locks up though, and it's going to be a double overtake in towards turn 1 there. That got very, very scary there, and I think Leclerc's lockup actually saved me there, as I imagine we would have probably run into his rear end there. But yeah, that certainly was a heart and mouth moment on lap 25 here. But now up into P12 of this Grand Prix. Gasly is a good couple of seconds up the road here, and unfortunately this was going to be the stage of the day where unfortunately, you know, the extra tyre grip that we had unfortunately would completely wear off. And through, skipping on towards the final couple of corners here, Ocon would actually try and send a late lunge around my outside in through the penultimate corner there. But we will hold on to P12 in the Australian Grand Prix. Not quite the result I wanted, but I'm sure we will certainly take that.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
So there we are then, guys. That has been the end of the Australian Grand Prix there. Sebastian Vettel would, well, mount his championship charge once again there with a win at the Australian Grand Prix. Kimi Räikkönen would come through for P2 to round out a fantastic day for the Ferrari team. I'm sure they are very, very happy, obviously, with wrapping up both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship last season to come out to Australia with a 1-2. Really does go to show, although the game seems to think that Mercedes are quicker than Ferrari, are the force to be reckoned with here. Lewis Hamilton in P3 there with Perez all the way still in P4 there, obviously from P1 on the grid. Daniel Ricciardo would actually come through for P5 there ahead of his teammate Max Verstappen. They would only swap places in that Grand Prix with Grosjean, Alonso, Ericsson and Magnussen rounding out the points there. So quite a few different teams actually able to score points in the opening round of the season there. Pierre Gasly would just miss out ahead of myself. Ocon, Leclerc, Van Dorn, Hartley, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz would round out the order there, with Nico Hülkenberg and Valtteri Bottas both unfortunately not making it through to the end of that Grand Prix. Obviously, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, obviously it'll be exactly the same as that race, but Ferrari in one Grand Prix already have a 25-point lead in the Constructors' standings ahead of Red Bull, Mercedes and Force India there. In terms of the driver rivalry, as you can see, it's going to be 5-4 to my teammate Lance Stroll. We would have already actually achieved the target of P16 there, which is obviously certainly very, very ideal. An extra 400 R&D points in the bag. I will certainly take that after the opening round of, well, I say after the opening round, we'll only get that in a couple of races time. 464.6 is now up to 924, so obviously hopefully moving into the second round of the season we will try to go for a bit of an upgrade on the car. Emma very, very happy with that result in the end. As you can see, we did think about going for a sort of an aero upgrade, but unfortunately we just didn't have the R&D for any of them, as well as the fact we've already got one in development here. So we are going to actually try and focus a little bit more on the quality control / efficiency here. Not too sure what upgrade I'm going to go with just yet here, because we've actually got quite a few in terms of the chassis, as well as the aerodynamics. So we might actually go for for an engine upgrade there. But there we are then. I'll sort of leave that running in the background as well for obviously those of you that are interested in that. But that has been the end of the Australian Grand Prix there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. As I said, really sort of wanted to change up the editing style on it just a little bit, but not too much. You know, I sort of want it to be my series. But, you know, it's got to remain fresh and different. So obviously, hopefully, you guys have enjoyed, you know, sort of the subtle changes that I have made coming into Season 2 there. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Obviously, if you have made it this far, do not forget to like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers at the moment there. And obviously, if you could help me get one step closer, that would be massively appreciated. But I will hopefully see you guys next time for the Chinese Grand Prix.